What's up, Brandon Sway here from thirstgym.com, where we're going to do another video, this time with the squat tier list. So we did the last video on best deadlift exercises with tier list. Today, we're going to do the squat. So these are going to be the best exercises to help build your squat or improve your squat. Again, just a quick disclaimer, I did not make this list. I'm pulling this from the Tier Maker website, so somebody else has already made this list for me, so please don't judge me there. I'm also going to do my best to pick apart these exercises because on a lot of them the names aren't there, so I'm going to try to insinuate what exercise they're trying to do. So let's get started with these, and let's go to here we go. Let's see what we've got here. I'm just going to go full screen, I guess. So like I said, there's quite a bit here, so just kind of hang with me as I go to do this, and we'll try to do the best that we can. So we've got the S, the A, the B, the C, and the D tier for this one. So the tiers kind of change depending on who makes them, but helps me get an idea. So, and down here, we've got all the lovely exercises. So we're going to start here with the very first one, and it looks like it is the 1.5 squat. So I'm going to take that. This means you're going to do a full eccentric all the way to the bottom, come halfway up, back down, and then all the way back up. And in terms of building your back squat, I'm actually going to go with I'm going to go with a B. I'm going to go in the middle right now. Don't think it's an awful exercise. Not something I intentionally program. I actually like using these with more like hypertrophy-based work in terms of building your quads and your legs, doing dumbbells, hack squats, things like that. Don't really ever program this with a barbell, at least myself. So I'm going to give it B tier. I think there's a way to get this movement done with different things for my hypertrophy. Again, if I'm going to put a barbell on my back, I want to make it kind of specific or as good and strong as I can to help my actual back squat. So I don't think it's bad, but for me personally, not my kind of cup of tea. Next looks like a 45-degree back extension. I'm going to go C tier. There's just not a whole lot of correlation here with this exercise in terms of building your squat. If you got weak glutes, weak hamstrings, I think it's good for that to help bring those up. But I mean, it's certainly not towards the top. I think there's better, worse exercises out there as well. So I wouldn't say a huge carryover here, but I do think it's an exercise that needs to be in your training program just to build your glutes and your hamstrings pretty strong. Now, this next one I'm going to guess is the glute ham raise, just by the way that they have things looked up. And I'm actually going to put this in front of that. I still think it's a C tier exercise, but I think it's a little bit better than the 45-degree back extension just because it's considerably harder. It builds your glutes and your hamstrings considerably better. But again, the correlation to helping your squat, probably not the greatest, but it's also not awful either. There's probably a good amount of people that are incredibly strong squatters that can do glute ham raises, and there's also people that can't do them. So I just don't think there's a whole lot of correlation there for that exercise. It looks to me like this next one is going to be hanging leg raises. And in terms of accessory work for abdominals for your squat and your deadlift, this is one of the exercises I love. So I'm kind of torn on how I want to classify this. I'm going to go with a B tier, and I'm going to put it after the 1.5 squat. I think it's probably one of the top tier abdominal exercises that I program for anybody looking to squat, bench, and deadlift more. There's just a lot of good abdominal strength there. Plus, it helps your back feel good by training flexion. We do a bunch of extension and powerlifting. So I think doing that is good. So I don't think there's anything wrong here. This next one, it's really kind of hard for me to tell what they are doing. They're certainly squatting, but I can't really tell. So it looks to me like maybe they're, oh man, that's hard. Without being able to see what it is, actually it looks like it might be a pin squat. So knowing that, I'm going to say A. All right, I don't think it's the absolute best, but I do think it builds a ton of strength coming out of the bottom. And you can get very specific on where you place your pins. So you'll call this an Anderson squat. So assuming that's what this exercise is, I really do like this exercise. It's probably flirting with getting to that S tier. The big thing that sucks is usually setting it up. And if you train with multiple people, then you've got different leverages to worry about, and that's just a mess. But good exercise. Would recommend that exercise for sure. Next looks like it's the Airdyne. I'm just going to go D tier just for the sheer fact that unless if you're incredibly out of shape, obviously going to help your squat. But if you needed aerobic conditioning, then this could be good. But I don't think it's really going to help your squat unless you're that really far out of shape. So as long as you're in decent enough shape, it's going to be good. It's not going to have any carryover. Looks like next is going to be old school sissy squat. Oh man, that's a tough one. I don't program them like this. I program them with a machine for just general quad work. Again, it's accessory work. So I think there's better things out there than this. I'm going to actually go bottom of my C tier. I don't think it's worth the time invested to helping your squat. Is it going to get your quads bigger? Yeah, probably. But I'm not going to say that it's going to like skyrocket your squat. Probably good for some knee health stuff, but that's about probably it for me. Next would be the seal row. Honestly, I think having a big, strong back to squat is important, just to put the shelf on. But if we're talking about building your squat, I'm going D tier above the Airdyne bike. So I think context is key here, right? Like, is this a good exercise? Absolutely. Building back strength. But I had to think about if I'm trying to just particularly build somebody's squat, what exercises am I going to utilize in a program? Seal row is not high on my priority list of what I'm thinking. Next is the bent over row. I'm going to go the same thing. I'm even going to rank that lower than the seal row. At least the real seal row is pretty strict. The bent over row, you could argue you got to deadlift it or hinge it and hold that position, so that could be good. But to me, if I'm after the row stuff, there's just, again, a lot better options out there to pick. Next is going to be like this goblet. Looks like a goblet box squat with the dumbbells up here. It's not really a goblet position, though. So I don't really know what they're after here. Chances are, if you're back squatting, you're a competitive powerlifter, you're probably past this stage in your life. So I'm going to just go on a high C tier just because I think, again, there's better exercises out there for this. So take it for what you will, but not my thing. If you're learning how to squat, then this moves up really high, like towards the S tier. I saw a lot of kids and beginner clients and athletes with a goblet box squat. So for learning the pattern, good. Building your squat in terms of a power lifter, probably something you're not going to anymore. Bulgarian split squat, I'm actually going to go. So again, I'm going to give it some context. I like the Bulgarian split squat a lot in terms of actually building your regular squat. I'm a little iffy. I think we need to get out of this interior orientation presentation where it's pushing you forward. You probably need to do the opposite. I think a front foot elevated split squat would be better. But I'm going to still go bottom of the A just because I know a lot of people like this exercise and they see good results from it in terms of just putting on leg size and improving the overall squat. Next would be a bodyweight squat. This is warm-up material, right? So, but if I'm being honest, I'm actually going to put it above the rows just because it is a squat. But, I'm not thinking this is like a warm-up, I guess. So I cannot really see what's happening here. To me, this looks like this might be a seated cable row machine. So again, it's going to go there with the rest of the row exercises. Don't really see a whole lot. Standing calf raise. Honestly, I'm going to put it down with the Airdyne bike. I don't give a crap about your calves if you're trying to squat big. You probably got enough of what you need there. So on to that. They really like rows on this. Chest supported row machine. I'm actually going to put this above the seal row just because it's way less pain in the butt to set up, and you're going to get similar results. You're just not going to be flat. You're going to be 45. You're just changing angles. Not a big deal there. This looks like a clean, and I'm going to say in terms of improving your squat, man, this list is a mess, right? At least you're kind of squatting, so I guess I'm going to put it above the rows but below the bodyweight squat. I'll put it above the bodyweight squat, assuming you're doing a full clean. If you're doing a power, then we got a little bit to talk about. But yeah, this little dude, this is a sweeper. See, this is why I said I do not take any credit for this list. Yeah, I don't know what that's going on here. Constant tension squat. I'm assuming that's just constantly squatting and keeping decent amount of tension the whole time. I don't know why they call it that. I guess for me, I don't know if this is on here. Let's just say that I'm assuming this also means you're not going to lock out the top. So, uh, we'll actually put it at the beginning of the C tier. I don't think it's a bad idea by any means, but I don't know why they call it that. If we were going tempo, then this would quickly probably become an S tier or even a very high A tier, but that's not what it is. Next looks like it's conventional deadlift. Honestly, in terms of improving your squat, it's just going to go bottom of C tier. At least you're lifting super heavy. You're going to know you're losing your hamstrings, your back are strong, but that's really about it. A lateral lunge is what this one looks like. I can't see his leg. It could also be a Kozak squat. I'm actually going to put this above this box squat looking thing. I think this is a fantastic exercise, and if you're doing a Kozak getting deep, this is actually going to be a pretty good accessory exercise to keep you healthy, and I think it can actually help your squat a little bit, but it's not going to be like a big bang for your buck. Dumbbell row, put it on the list with the rest of the rows. We're almost ranking our rows here more than we are our squat. I'm going to actually put this above the cable row, but below the seal row. Again, another weird graphic that I don't know what it is, so I'll put that down here. Front squat. Okay, we finally got something good. I like the front squat. We're going S tier. I actually like to teach the front squat to help my kids learn how to back squat better, but I think you're going to find that blowing out the quads, good upper back, good trunk strength, good position, improve range of motion, help them with ankle mobility, you're going to be in a good spot there. So first one that's actually really good. Next is going to be the leg extension. The leg press. I'm actually going to rank this at a B, and I'm going to do it above the 1.5 just because I don't really like that with that exercise. So good, again, to pack on size of your quads. It's not going to be a huge accelerator. If you need to blow your legs up and improve your quad strength, then it's good. So I think that's why it's kind of like middle of the tier for me. The Nordic, that's going to go right with my glute ham raise, and I'm going to put it right actually above the glute ham raise. Assuming that it's done correctly. We kind of talked about this with deadlift. It could really go either way, but we're going to say that you're doing your Nordics correctly. A regular goblet squat, believe it or not, I actually love this exercise. We are going to put it right behind the Bulgarian split squats. Just because we do so much squatting as powerlifters, I don't need to worry about getting more true squat work in, but I do like to use this with like different tempos and things. So just an overall goblet squat is fantastic. Next is going to be the good morning. And this is going to hurt a lot of people's hearts, I guess, especially if you're like more into, West Side stuff and you like your good mornings, but this is just not for me in terms of helping somebody squat more. I'm not going to give it a D tier, but I am going to put the bottom of C below the deadlift. I do know that people argue you can get forward in your squat, it can help, but if you're honestly doing a good morning correctly, you're probably never going to be in that position to where you can recover it in the first place, but also, in my opinion, it's going to help your deadlift more. So if I put it right behind the deadlift, never talking deadlift, good morning would have been on that list, then, we're maybe talking about a higher tier, but we're not. It looks to me like this might be another leg press. I can't really tell. Some of these pictures are not the greatest. So we're just going to say it's another leg press and move on because I really don't know what that is. This looks like it is I can't remember what they call this deadlift. It's like a barbell hack squat deadlift where the barbell's behind you. Again, I'm not a huge fan of this exercise. I'm going to put it in C tier above the constant. I'm going to put it below the constant. I'm going to put it here. I'm going to put it between the lateral lunge and that goblet box squat thing. I think the concept's okay, but there's a lot of better things you could be doing with your time and getting similar progress. But if you're very limited on equipment, I guess you've got at least an option there. Lying leg curls ain't doing nothing for your squat. I'm sorry. I mean, you want to get some hamstring work in, sure. we'll actually put it above bodyweight squat, I guess, just because you can't load the bodyweight squat. At least we can load this up, but there's not a whole lot there. This next exercise, I again cannot really tell what he's doing. I wish I could get some better pictures of these. He's definitely doing some kind of squat though. So at first I thought belt squat, but the next one's belt squat. So I don't think it's two different belt squats. I don't know. Since I don't know about this, but I see him doing a squat, we're just going to actually put this here in the C range just because I don't know what that is. If somebody can let me know what that one was that I put in the C tier, that'd be awesome. But next would be the belt squat. Big fan of this. Let's go in S tier. Just in terms of accessory work, being able to load it up, it works for a lot of people. There's lots of benefits to it. So I just think that in terms of like I had to pick one accessory work to help my squat, I didn't have a barbell. I couldn't use a barbell for any kind of supplemental work or whatever. Then that would be my go-to. This next one looks like a barbell reverse lunge. I actually really like this as well. I'm actually going to put this right there below my heels or my goblet squat. Hatfield squat, that's going to go A tier. We're actually going to go between the belt squat. I think that does a fantastic job. Obviously, you're using your arms, but it's just a good exercise like you'll forget about. Heels elevated squats, I think is all that says. So we're going to make that number one above the front squat. I think just overall having your heels elevated increases range of motion. You're as close to specificity as you're going to get, right? So that's pretty good. This next one just looks like a regular squat, so we're just going to put it first. I don't know if they're like trying to accentuate like this is a high bar or whether they're using weightlifting shoes. Either one, I don't really care. It just looks like a good squat, so we're just going to say S tier. That's the top one. This next one says Hindu squat. Be honest, I don't really know a whole lot what that is, but it looks like he squats down with his knees purposely coming forward. So it looks like to me this is like an accessory-based exercise. Since I don't know exactly what it is without looking at it, we're going to put it below this guy doing whatever his thing is. Adductor machine. Very interesting. Would not have expected to see this on here. Adductors are actually kind of important for the raw squat. So the question is, how much carryover are you going to get here? So knowing that, I'm actually going to put it in the C tier basically before deadlift, which feels really weird. But I don't think it's actually the worst thing in the world that could be on there. This next one looks like it's maybe the hip thrust machine. Man. That's going to kind of go... Man, that's tough. We're going to go down here, D tier. I just don't see it helping your squat that much. So I wouldn't worry about it. Leg extensions, do like this as an accessory exercise. So we are actually going to put this below the hanging abs. The only reason I have it below the hanging abs is because I think that's the best abdominal exercise, and you can get direct quad isolation from a lot of these other things that I have up here. So if you're, really keen on just pulling your quads up, great. But you can do that with the leg press. Some of these different variations that you're doing, you can get a lot of quad involvement. So, but I think in terms of if you want to do like single joint exercise, like it's a really good exercise, right? Lateral raises. This is just getting ridiculous now. This is ridiculous. We're going to put it after the bike and before the cartoon things because it ain't going to do nothing. Overhead squat. Now, if we're talking about like improving your back squat, talking about weightlifting, this would be fantastic, right? But to be honest, I'm not programming any overhead squats for any of my people. I'm trying to get stronger. So this is actually going to go above the clean just because we actually are squatting, if I can get there. But that's about it, honestly. It's better than some of these other ones because we can load it. But just, I don't. Most powerlifters probably aren't going to be able to get in that position anyway to benefit from it. Next would be a pause squat. We're going to actually go to basically number 2, second best exercise on the list. Love this exercise, program all the time. It just does a good job of teaching tightness in the hole, improving positional awareness, about as specific as you get in terms of variations outside of elevating your heels or something like that. So good exercise. Next would be like a hack squat variation. Honestly, these are fantastic in terms of accessory work. I'm going to go A is top tier accessory work. Good stuff with pendulum squat. Pistol squat, probably going to help your squat a little bit. Most powerlifters are going to have the mobility to do this, at least the very good ones. So we'll put it after the Hindu squat just because you can actually make these kind of hard, but I just don't think they're going to have a whole bunch of carryover. So could be worse, could be better. I don't know what this exercise is. It looks like maybe it's like some kind of abdominal exercise. Oh, it's a hip flexion, prone hip flexion. I can see it now. Some of these are kind of tough because I would not think of these exercises being on this list. And how to grade them. If I'm looking like from a preventative standpoint, I kind of like these. But if I'm thinking about like, how am I actually going to improve my squat, I'm not going to really do tiddly squat, if I'm being honest. So I'm going to put it above the rows just because it's going to strengthen our abdominals. But outside of that, pull up. Again, I'm going to go above all these row variations. We can just say it's going to help build the shelf on your back. Lat pull down. Honestly, I'd much rather row than lat pull down. So we'll go before the calf raises, but not a whole lot. RDL. Okay, so now this is a decent exercise. Here we go. In terms of helping your deadlift, your squat, very questionable directly, but it is a big bang for your buck exercise. So I'm actually going to put it at the bottom of the B tier because it's a good big compound exercise. It will build your glutes and hamstrings. Again, if you don't have a lot of equipment, this is something that I'm going to use to help build those. So I think that's good. I'm assuming this is some kind of like lunge. We'll say he's doing a walking lunge to make this easy. Another good exercise. I use this a lot. I'm actually assuming this is a walking lunge. Okay, we're going to assume that this is a walking lunge. We've got it loaded. I'm actually going to go with this above the 1.5 squats. I like lunges for all my athletes, but I think you can do these in a variety of different ways depending on how you're holding loads and stuff. So a seated leg press. These I think are not as good as like a regular leg press where the eccentric portion of it comes first. So knowing that, we're actually going to put this probably around here. I don't know how to load that exercise more. Looks like sleep. I actually think that's a good one. So if we're talking sleep, then obviously we're going S tier. But, is it more important than actually doing the lift? This becomes a little questionable. I'm just going to put it at the bottom of S tier. Sleep's important. Let's just assume you're doing all these main exercises up here at the top. Then you need to make sure that your sleep's on point. Your sleep should be on point regardless, but we're just going to say that sleep's S tier for the time being, assuming that if you're not already doing all that. Looks like this is some kind of single leg Smith machine squat looking thing. Could be worse, could be better. So don't like as much as the good morning. Sorry. If we're trying to do hypertrophy, I like it. So we'll go with the beginning of a D tier. Not a bad idea, but just not what I'm going to program. Smith machine squat. Honestly, doing a single leg variation is better than these. This just feels super weird. So not done these in a long time either. We'll put it between the leg curl and the cleans. Somewhat specific, but I don't know how much it's going to help you. Kind of weird. Spanish squats. Now, let's assume that they're doing these through a full range of motion, not doing isometrics here. And I think this is a good exercise. So I'm actually going to put it right above my leg extension. It's a very good hack if you don't have a leg extension. So we'll say the bottom of the B tier. Looks like a front-loaded SSB squat. Great way to do a front squat. So I'm going to put it right below the front. I'm going to put it better than front squat because everybody can do this, but not everybody has the mobility to front squat. Let's just say that. And it's got John Meadows. So there's that. Safety squat bar squat. I actually am going to put this probably, don't hate me, I'm actually going to put this above or below the pause squat, but above the heels elevated squat because I think once you can get pauses and positioning down, then having a strong upper back and keeping your shoulders happy is very important. So it's going to work a lot better. So that would be my order there. This looks like it's going to be a step up, good exercise. Actually, it just doesn't have a whole lot of eccentric tension. So I'm actually going to go with for your squat. If you can be super strict with them, I'm going to go to the bottom of B tier. Still like an RDL better, but this can actually help build some quads well. This looks like some kind of deadlift. We're just going to put it here by this other deadlift, assuming nothing special is happening here. I just don't know what's going on. I see that there's angles, but that's about all I can see. Sumo deadlift, believe it or not, is actually better than the conventional for helping your squat. So we're just going to put it above the conventional and leave it there. It's not going to give you a huge improvement, but it is going to help. This, I'm assuming, is some kind of I don't know what. See, these are really weird exercises. This kind of looks like the sissy squat that we had earlier. So we're just going to assume that he's doing the same thing, but with like a machine. So we'll say it's better because you can load it. Trap bar deadlift. Some of these are tough. Again, we got to think how this helps build your actual squat. I don't think it's going to be as well as I would like it. I'm going to put it below sumo, but above conventional. Upright row, congratulations. You are worse than lateral raises. I just don't like upright row. It's a waste of time exercise, in my opinion. Reverse lunges, good exercise. Very good exercise. Bottom of A tier. Assuming you can load this up with a billion ways. You're using a lot of quads, a lot of glutes, single leg exercise, eccentric first. You're going to feel good on your knees. I think it's just a strong single leg exercise that you can utilize. Box jumps. For a primer, developing rate of force development, good. This is tough. Because now we're kind of getting semantics of how much it really helps build your squat. I'm feeling B right now. Is it better than the leg press? I know some powerlifters that are super strong, but they just can't jump. Would the jump help them? Maybe. Honestly, I'm going to go bottom of B tier. I can't give it a C. I feel like there's too much good neural priming there before you go to squat. But a lot of these exercises are actually going to put more poundage on your squat, I feel like. So looks like this next one's going to be Zercher squats. I'm assuming like it. I don't program them a lot, if I'm being honest. So because I don't program them a lot, I'm going to put them in the B tier below the leg press. I really want to put them A, but I just don't. I think there's just better ways to get these results. And it all just comes down to what you're after. And so, again, I like it, but if I'm working with powerlifters, I'm probably not doing that much Zercher squat work. The Frankenstein squat, hate it or love it. It's basically a front squat. So it's going to go there. I'm actually going to put it below the Hatfield just because stability and keeping it upright matters to some degree. So, but that looks pretty good. So that's all of them. So we'll kind of try to go through these really quick, kind of see some trends. All my main squat work I got at the top. We'll say this is just a regular squat. Squat, pause squat, safety bar squat, heels elevated squat, front squat with a safety bar, front squat, Hatfield squat, zombie squat, or essentially another front squat, belt squat, and then sleep. We'll say sleep's your accessory exercise there. I think those are all fantastic. All your main, trying to improve your squat, these are the exercises you're probably going to go with, right? Next for A would be like supplemental, or your kind of next go-to once you've done those main exercises at the top to some degree. Squats from pins, Bulgarians, goblet squats. Looks like reverse lunges with a barbell. Didn't really get the semantics here. The pendulum squat and another reverse lunge. Like those are just good exercises that are probably always going to help your squat. Next, B, good, could be better, but if you're picking these, you're either trying to improve some small things, get a little bit more out of your squat, trying to get some extra volume, things like that. I also got some leg presses, they're your squats. This I'm just assuming is a walking lunges, 1.5 squats, hanging leg raises, leg extensions, RDLs, Spanish squats, step ups, box jumps. Good stuff. Not awful, just good. C would be like, could be a little better, but there are definitely worse things out there. Constant tension squats. So to me, that's almost tempo. If it was tempo, it would be A though. Lateral lunges, basically barbell hack deadlift kind of thing. Seated leg press, like horizontally. Squats with the dumbbells up here. This other squat exercise, I just flat out can't tell what it is. So kind of had to guess. These Hindu squats, pistol squats, and then we got some like posterior chain work, which aren't really bad, but Nordics, glute ham raises, back extensions, these kind of sissy squats, adductor work, your deadlifts, good mornings. Not saying they're bad exercises, but in terms of how they're going to help your squat, probably not much. Then you got your D tier, which some of these are just weird things that I don't know why they're in here, or they're honestly, I want to say, a waste of time in terms of helping your squat. So Smith machine, single leg squat, overhead press, clean jerk, Smith machine squat, leg curls, body weight squats, hip thrust machine. I think that's what that is. I'm sorry, I just couldn't tell what it is. Hip flexion work, pull-ups, all tons of row variations, lat pull downs, calves, air dyne, shoulders, and 2 weird things that I didn't know what they were. So lots of good stuff there. So if you happen to watch this, thanks for watching. If you like these, again, please let me know in the comment section below. The plan is to do bench press next. I'm going to try and find a bench press one, and we'll go over that one. But looking at this, I feel like this is pretty decent. I'll try to make my own and try to dwindle this down because there's a lot of crap, quote unquote crap on here, and I feel like it's all kind of context dependent. If a bunch of these crappy ones were on here and I still had to do this, then this list would probably be spread out a little bit more. But overall, this one was way more enjoyable than the deadlift one, just because I had more things to choose from and to kind of think about, and actually kind of challenge how important some of these exercises I think are. And again, context matters of kind of the population that you're working with. So I just kind of took into account that, hey, we're working with a competitive powerlifter. We want to improve their back squat. These are kind of how I'm looking at exercises. So I appreciate you coming on here, watching this with me. Again, if you want to feel like you've got some kind of feedback, I'm definitely more than happy to go over that. Let me know in the comment section below. Thanks again for watching. We'll catch you at the next episode of Tier List, which will obviously be bench press.